Why do we do it and how can we avoid it? How do we encourage more intentional spending for our fashion? We all have items in our wardrobe that we regret buying, and I'm going to run through my top 10 or probably more than 10 items that I've regretted buying in the past. The first one might come as a little surprise to you. Buying too many basics. We're all told time and time again it's a really good idea to build your wardrobe upon your basics, and I agree with that. But when it comes to something like a white t-shirt, which I do wear a lot, I probably own 5 or 6 white t-shirts and I don't love any of them. The thing is, you can buy budget t-shirts these days from Kmart or Target in Australia or Walmart in America. Now what I find with them, and often they're 100% cotton, they're fine for knocking around in, but when I want to style something up, they often let me down, they lose shape. So then I decided to buy some t-shirts, white t-shirts that were cotton elastane blends. Now what happened with these was they were just a little bit too clingy. And as I'm getting older, I really don't like my tops too clingy, because then you've got all the bra issues, how your bra straps show up and so forth. So recently what I did was I actually spent more money on a white t-shirt, more than I would usually ever spend. I think it was about $45, $49. But I tried this one on and it just seemed so soft. The fabric was such good quality and it had really lovely sleeves. The sleeves are perfect for trans-seasonal because they come down to the elbow. And a lot of the t-shirts that I'd previously bought had much shorter sleeves, and I'm not so thrilled with my arms these days. What I want to say about basics is, even though we think basics should be something we shouldn't spend a lot of money on, and I do agree with that, at the same time you do want quality, and sometimes you have to pay that extra to get that better quality fabric. If you like this type of content and you're new to my channel, please subscribe. And while you're at it, hit that like button. It is so appreciated. Another regret can be buying clothing that is too small for us because we think we're going to lose weight. Perhaps at the time we're buying it, and this has happened to me particularly with jeans, quite often with jeans. I might be at my heaviest weight and I think, well, I'll buy the smaller size because I know I'm going to lose some weight, but months go by, a whole season might go by, and I haven't lost the weight. Don't be tempted to be buying clothes too small unless you are losing weight. If you're on a diet and you're consistently losing weight, that's a whole other story. But if you've gained a bit of weight, you've gained half a stone or a stone, and you're thinking, yeah, within a month or 2 or 3, I'll have lost this weight and I'll be able to fit into this pair of pants or whatever, don't be tempted. Lose the weight first. Something else many of us are guilty of doing are buying multiples of the same thing. I've got a real thing about navy and white knitted tops, and I have 2 here, and they're very, very similar. And believe it or not, I had 2 short sleeve versions of exactly the same sort of tops. All of us do tend to gravitate towards similar items over and over. This brings me on to something else that we might have regrets about, and that's buying something that's itchy. Now, I bought these online and they are cotton, but they're a little bit of a rough cotton. They're not really a fine, soft cotton. And I do find, I don't know which one of them, I find it a little bit itchy. And something else that I'm not always good with that makes me itchy is wool. I also bought this little top online, but it's a scratchy wool. It's not soft. And I don't really like to wear it because then you have to figure out, what am I going to wear underneath it so it doesn't itch my skin? So even though you're tempted, and this can particularly happen with wool, unless it's a wool blend, and I find blends can be a lot softer, but that's something to keep in mind. You might think, oh, it's okay, it's just a little bit itchy, it won't bother me too much, but I don't know about you, but having a garment that's itchy, and that can include pants as well. I've bought trousers that have been itchy for some reason. I don't wear them. I tend to not want to wear them. I know which colors I like to wear, but every once in a while I'll try on a garment and it seems to be the perfect fit. It seems to be exactly what I'm looking for in every possible way except the color. I might not hate the color, but I might not love the color, and I convince myself that I can live with it. And I tend to put it on sometimes and I just feel flat because it's not a color that I love and I don't feel confident in that color. This recently happened to me with the skirt. It's a beautiful fit, it felt gorgeous on, but it's a color I never wear. It's mint green and it was a difficult color to wear on the bottom in particular. The only other color that was going to go back with it was white. and maybe matching it up with another mint green, where I never usually wear mint green against my face. So I declined in buying that skirt, but I was very tempted. So this is one of the times I didn't have a regret. But particularly if the color is going to sit against your face, if it's color you never wear and you never buy and you're on the fence, don't buy it, no matter how fantastic it might fit. I bought this really lovely Empire line dress. It's made from a crepe fabric, and it actually has a petticoat underneath it, a slip underneath it, so it's a separate piece. And I really love it, but I never wear it. And the reason I don't wear it is because of the cream color. I feel like the cream color against my hair, against my white grey hair, it just washes me out. And I also feel like the dress is a little bit bridal. I know it's not white, but there's something about it that reminds me of being a little bit bridal. I think it's a beautiful dress, it fits me great, and I never wear it. Buying wardrobe essentials because they're recommended to us, but they might not fit our lifestyle. We mightn't like them. They might not fit our personality. But I bought myself a white crisp cotton shirt. I hardly ever wear it. I also bought myself a satin silky white shirt, and I wear it all the time. I don't tend to like crisp cotton shirts. I like soft fabrics. I didn't only buy the white shirt in white, I bought it in 3 other colors as well, thinking, oh, this will be great. You know, I'll have all my cotton shirts covered. And I don't really like it because I have to iron them. That's another thing. And I'm not mad on poplin. I'm not a real poplin fan. And they weren't stretch poplin. They had no stretch in them at all. But otherwise, I tend to like silk or satin or a soft fabric in a blouse or a shirt. Hence, like the one I have on, it's 100% silk, and it just feels so beautiful on my skin. Super on-trend fashion items. Well, fashion goes in trends, as we know. But when we keep seeing a certain trend worn over and over and over on YouTube, on Instagram, and we're seeing it all the time, we start to think, well, maybe we need to have one of those in our wardrobe, because if we buy that, we'll look cool too. We'll look like we're wearing the latest trend and we know what's going on in fashion. The thing is, it mightn't really suit our lifestyle. It mightn't suit our wardrobe. It mightn't suit us. We mightn't even really love it that much. Just be really wary of trends. I just gave away some ripped jeans and distressed jeans because they were so on trend. But then when I look back, I thought, you know, sometimes with the rip, my knees were poking right through where the rips were. It's not a good look at all. I gave them all away because they're dated now. Now, mind you, I did get somewhere out of them, so it wasn't a complete loss. If you're not paying a lot of money for a trend, it doesn't really matter so much. But be wary of designer trends in particular. They're the ones that are really going to cost you money, and they can go in and out really quite fast. And honestly, when you see everybody wearing it, absolutely everyone wearing the same, I remember the Gucci belts. There is a theory that once everyone is wearing something, it's already out. It's no longer in. A friend always said to me, you're never going to look that trendy when you're buying a garment that's at the arse end of a trend. And when is that? When you're seeing it everywhere, particularly Instagram. And speaking of Instagram, we can get so easily influenced. Here on YouTube as well, we can get easily influenced by what other women are wearing, and I'm guilty of this too. I'll see certain women and I think they've got this fantastic style going on that is their style, it's unique to them, and they look fabulous in that style. Fashion is about finding your own authentic style. I don't think it's easy to copy someone else's style that is really quite different to yours and might not suit your lifestyle and definitely not your personality. There's one woman that comes to mind on Instagram, I don't know her name or her account, and she's got her own unique style going, and she wears lots of big jewelry. Lots of big jewelry that looks almost today in 2024 what I would consider outdated, but it suits her. I don't really find a lot of the clothing she wears so on trend. I find it her own unique style, but the way she puts it together, and she does have a fantastic figure, it all works for her. It would not work for me. It would not work where I live. And she's like so many women on Instagram. They might have amazing style, but their style might not work for your lifestyle, and it might not suit your personality. You might try and emulate it and you feel really uncomfortable because you're not being true to yourself. Uncomfortable shoes. This can be a real tricky one. I bought these loafers several years ago and they're really comfortable, except back here on the heel, they rub and I get terrible blisters from them. I have tried everything. I've tried the silicone strips. I've bought so many different silicone strips to put across the back. There's nothing I can seem to do, and I just don't wear them. And they weren't that cheap. The label is Whitner in Australia. They aren't budget. I think I paid about $140, $50 for these shoes. But I tend to have a lot of problems with the back of my ankles. If a shoe isn't soft, if it hasn't got padding here in the back, it's going to rub, because I don't wear socks with loafers like this or stockings or anything like that. It's going to rub and it's going to give me blisters. And I absolutely hate blisters. There's nothing worse than being out and about and you're trotting around in your shoes and you feel that blister coming on, and it just gets worse and worse to the point where you're walking on the back of the shoe like this, trying to avoid the blister getting even worse. And that can be one of the problems with buying shoes online. It's okay if you can send them back and the freight doesn't cost to send them back, then it's not so much of a gamble. But if you can't send them back, if they're on sale and they're going to cost you a bit of money to send back, I wouldn't gamble buying shoes online, not shoes that are fitted at least. I believe that we're just about all guilty of doing this, and that is buying a garment that's really pretty. And I might walk into a store and I see a really pretty blouse or a pretty dress and I think, oh, the color's divine, it's so pretty, and it's just a really feminine dress. It's usually something feminine with me. I tend to not wear it very often. It doesn't work for everyday wear. It's usually something that's more an event piece or a special occasion piece. And if it's a printed blouse in particular, I might find it really difficult to team up the colors with anything. It probably mightn't go with anything but a pair of jeans. When you're intentionally spending, you really have to ask yourself, can I see myself wearing this garment, and how many different ways can I wear it? Will it fit in with my lifestyle? Is it really me? Is it even me? Or do I just think it's gorgeous? Maybe on someone else. Buying garments made from synthetic fabrics, trying to convince myself that it's a fantastic cut, it's a great fit, I'm not mad about the fabric, but I can live with it. Well, lots of times I won't wear it. If it's highly synthetic and it's a little bit itchy and it doesn't feel quality, it doesn't feel comfortable, chances are I'm not going to wear it. So be wary of synthetic fabrics, particularly in the summertime if the fabric doesn't breathe. It can be such a shame when you're looking for something in particular and you find something that fits you just beautifully, like a glove, and it's made from a cheaper synthetic fabric, and you really have to decide, am I going to be able to live with this? Will I handle wearing this synthetic fabric? Even though it fits beautifully, will I feel comfortable in this? Will I feel like I'm wearing a quality garment, or will it look cheap? One of the reasons that we do have different levels of fashion when we're purchasing, from budget right up to designer, is often because of the quality of the textile. And having made so many fashion YouTube videos over the years and buying clothing to try on, I can tell you there is a really big difference in the fit and the way something sits on you when the fabric is a better quality fabric. It's not always the case, you can get lucky. Particularly in trousers, if they're synthetic and they've got a high sheen on them, they do have a cheaper look and they're going to show up your panty lines. There's something about that synthetic fabric. It's thinner, it's not quality, it's definitely harder to wear with your knickers. And this is where I believe when it comes to your wardrobe essentials, you do have to pay a little bit more, and even for your basics. Now, not necessarily always for basics, but occasionally. There can be issues with synthetic fabric. It can shrink, it can peel. So it doesn't always have the best longevity. And if you want really good cost per wear, as I said, for your essentials, quite often you might need to spend just a little bit more money.